Hello, I'm Sophia Klopp, and today I will be introducing the American beautyberry. The scientific name for the American beautyberry is Callicarpa americana, and it's native to southeast North America. Here, we're in the pine rocklands of South Florida, one of the places you'll find it most commonly. Throughout southeast North America, you can find the beautyberry in Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, and Texas. Outside of North America, you can see the beautyberry in Cuba, Asia, South America, and even Australia. This wide range of existence is evident that this plant can tolerate many different conditions. It likes the full sun, it likes the shade. It can be overwatered because once established, it's drought tolerant. This is a C3 plant, meaning its photosynthetic pathways function best under moderate conditions and sunlight. Any soil is fine for this plant, but it does especially well in sandy and loamy soils with well drainage. Today, I'm taking a walk through the 80 Barns Nature Preserve. Let's see what we can find. Behind me, we have the American beautyberry. Now let's talk about some physiological traits that this plant has. This plant is a deciduous shrub. It grows 4 to 8 feet tall and wide around. It has simple serrated leaves, as seen here. The leaves on this plant are aromatic when crushed. The oils inside deter pests or any herbivores that might be interested in eating this. This is very good natural pest management for this plant and surrounding plants. Here we can observe one of the plant's pink to purple flowers. These flowers usually sprout between May and July or late spring. Then, if they start to fruit, here's what the fruits look like. The fruit is between July and September, and they reach peak maturity during August and October. However, the plant does keep these fruits on their plant all the way through winter, giving wildlife great nutrition throughout the winter time. The roots of this plant are fibrous and shallow, making it very easy for transplanting. And if you chose to do so, you could take about a small piece, maybe 8 to 10 inches long, to propagate this plant on your own. It's very easy to grow anywhere in this environment. Once properly propagated in water, this hardy shrub can grow anywhere, as it's very low maintenance and can sustain very different environments. The growth pattern for this plant is typical. Within year 1, we observe germination, rooting, and some light vegetation growth. During year 2, we see some heavier vegetation growth, some flowering, and maybe some light fruiting. In year 3, we have a full shrub with heavy flowering and heavy fruiting. The plant typically lives up to 10 to 15 years, but can also live all the way up to 20 years in a very healthy environment. A lot of this plant's popularity comes from its ornamental characteristics. As you can see, this is a very beautiful color on this fruiting. People would love to have this outside of their houses. There's great cultural importance to this plant as well. As we know, the natives use this plant as a natural insect repellent. The essential oils can be extracted from the leaves of this plant as they contain terpenoids and callicarpins, known to have insect repellent properties. A fun historical fact about this plant is that indigenous cultures used this for dye. They would dye their clothing or various different items because of its beautiful and fluorescent appearance of purple or lavender. Additionally, the natives would use this plant for its medicinal properties. Inside these small berries, they could be extracted and crushed to use for herbal teas that could be beneficial for anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial properties. When boiled in water, the infusion of the roots and leaves of this plant can be good for treating fevers, stomach aches, and sweat baths. Most human uses for this plant require processing. The processing breaks down the tannins and brings out the subtle floral taste. Due to its medicinal and edible characteristics, this plant has many ecological importances, not only for us humans who like to enjoy this berry in jams. The tannins and terpenoids in this plant trigger a kind of drying sensation in your mouth. This is why these plants and berries are not eaten like any normal fig or grape. For culinary uses, this plant is usually boiled or prepared in some way that takes away the bitterness and adds a little sweetness to its floral flavoring. This plant is far more valued for its medicinal and practical usage than for edible and food source. More importantly, this is a great food source for our wildlife. As we know, small mammals such as raccoons and birds and insects love to eat this plant and its fruits. But also for the nature. Birds and butterflies love eating this plant. The American beautyberry has a lot of commercial value. As we know, its usage is very wide, local range and internationally. We see brands such as Purple Prairie Botanicals, Three River Farm Naturals, Southern Herbal Traditions, and more using this plant for their products, especially insect repellents or soaps for insect repellents. The USDA has also approved this plant and done some research on its properties so that we know it's safe to use. Additionally, the U.S. Department of Agriculture says it's safe to consume this plant as we use it in jams, jellies. Many Florida native nurseries sell beautyberry plants, cuttings, and seeds in their nurseries to promote the growth and popularity and population of this plant. Marketing for this plant is easy for its sellers. Not only is this a beautiful plant and ornamental for your house, but it offers a lot of different benefits. It also attracts wildlife and is drought tolerant, perfect for your South Florida home. Beautyberry has a moderate level of drought tolerance, which is one of the reasons it does so well in Florida's dry seasonal periods. It has a fibrous, horizontally spreading root system. That means instead of going deep, the roots spread wide across the upper soil layers, allowing the plant to quickly capture rainfall and surface moisture. The leaves have a waxy cuticle that helps reduce water loss, and during severe drought, the plant can actually drop some of its leaves to conserve moisture. Stomatal behavior is also important. Beautyberry closes its stomata early when it senses water stress. This reduces transpiration and helps the plant retain water. The leaves themselves have slight pubescence, basically tiny hairs, which also help minimize evaporation. Altogether, these traits make beautyberry very successful in Florida's dry, sandy environments. Beautyberry is extremely adaptable when it comes to soil. It grows best in sandy, loamy, or slightly acidic soils, but it struggles when in heavy clay or soils that stay waterlogged. Beautyberry has a very distinctive shoot growth pattern, and it uses what's called a sympodial branching system. What this means is that the main stem will grow for a while, and then the terminal bud slows down or stops growing. When that happens, the plant doesn't keep growing from the tip. Instead, the growth continues from the lateral buds along the sides of the stem. This creates a really characteristic shape. The plant develops multiple stems that rise above from the base and then arch outward, giving beautyberry its rounded, layered look. That natural structure is actually perfect for fruiting because beautyberry forms its berry clusters in the leaf axils, the spots where the leaves meet the stems. So, the more lateral shoots the plant produces, the more fruiting sites it creates. Overall, this sympodial growth pattern is what gives beautyberry its full bushy form and supports high berry production. Its preferred pH range is between 5.0 and 6.5, though it can tolerate up to around 7.0. What's interesting is that beautyberry is very efficient at uptaking nutrients from low fertility soils. Like many Florida natives, it doesn't need much nitrogen, and too much fertilization can actually reduce flowering. It also forms relationships with fungus in the soil. These fungus help the plant absorb phosphorus and other nutrients more effectively, which is important in nutrient-poor ecosystems like pine rocklands and scrub habitats.